Technology brings us closer together, even when we're far apart. Google developer groups host meetup events for local technologists to connect, learn, and grow with others in their area.
The project I'm mostly proud of would be teaching introduction to programming to 7 girls in my hometown.
In the GDJ, I used to attend various workshops, like it was on Firebase, Android, Cloud. Everyone is learning from someone else.
We started to meet twice a week for a long time, learning Google Cloud. Amazing experience.
After joining Accenture as a software engineer, I started to share my journey in Medium, podcasts, and talks at online bootcamps.
My talk inspired one of community members a lot, so I mentored him to start his latter path. And 1 year later, at the same conference, he was giving a talk at the same stage.
One member of our community moved from being a DJ at our event to developing the first leading bank in the country.
When we do events that impact a lot of people, we are bringing opportunity to our region. So a lot of investors, a lot of startups, they will start to see opportunities here.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, can let me confirm that from my own end. How clear am I sounding? Just a moment. Okay, brilliant. Yes, I think I am sounding quite all right. Yeah, so good evening, everyone. I hope you had a very good day and you're doing quite fine. I am fine. I really do hope that you are fine as well. So my name is Onyekwere, and the GDJABA team, put together this webinar, which is the first start of the weekly knowledge section. This is designed to help those in the community share ideas together and bring people who are outside, the community to come and share ideas within the community. And today we're going to talk about a talk title that I shared sometime last week at the Oscar Festival in Lagos. And I'm honored to redo this talk with the community. I've added a few slides, a few illustrations, and increased a few of the explanations so that we can talk as community people to clearly drive the point home, as concise as possible. So just a moment, yes. So my name is Trust, you initially mentioned. I don't want to go into details about this, but basically the two things I love doing. I enjoy building products with technology, like bringing technology into life by building products. And I did that at Bcamp, where I founded Bcamp to build products. And we're currently working on Spotify for e-learning, which I will share later on the community. And I do tech education, two things: build products and teach about tech. So I work with the Mushroom backend team to organize tech education programs and projects. And of course, I am the chief storyteller at GDJABA. And that's basically, why I'm doing this with so much honor and, and excitement. So the slides were designed by Perry from the Oscar team. So I use a design from Perry, and a few illustrations have the credits on it, so you get to understand where they all came from. So we'll talk about 7 confessions. It took me 2 weeks and a few days to finally figure out what title to give to my talk. And 7 confessions of a software engineer made more sense. And confessions are mistakes in this context. I'm confessing mistakes, 7 mistakes I did 6 years ago. And after speaking to my friends who have been in who have been in the engineering field for so long, and I asked them about their own journey and mistakes, and I brought everything together into 7 mistakes of a retired software engineer. Well, a lot of those mistakes are my mistakes, but we all did the mistakes, while beginning our tech journey. And I want to share those mistakes, and perhaps you can see 1 or 2 things you need to change, 1 or 2 areas you can make adjustments and begin to see results in your career as a beginner, as an intermediate, or an expert whatever tech level you are, you can begin to apply any of the 7, 1, 2, 3, or all of the 7 to begin to see changes in your own career. Now, if you're not a developer and you're joining this stock, that's fine, because most of the mistakes are still rookie mistakes from non-coding careers. Either a designer, marketer, product manager, whatever tech career fields you're in, you can find something that can make sense to you. All right, so the first, I'm going to try my best to be as very short as possible, so we don't get to talk for so long. But it's going to be very interactive and ask questions, and begin to find ways to actually make sense of what I was trying to discuss. So the first mistake was that I was a jack of all trades. And to better illustrate this, or to take you to the journey of what I meant by jack of all trades, I want us to go back to where it all began. So it all started in 2010. 2010, that was okay. Nikita was a season. This is a series, movie series. It was released in 2010, but I got to see it in 2016. That was where I saw Nikita season 1. And there was this particular scene, it should be episode 6 or thereabouts, where a CIA safe house was hacked by terrorists. And they had to find someone to unhack the system. And they brought this guy called Abdul. Abdul came to the CIA safe house. And he, of course, you know how they do their thing, like, pressing plenty keys. I don't know if you actually type in, but they're typing plenty things. And screens are moving up and down, and before you knew it, he fixed the system. And I enjoyed what Abdul did, even though I didn't understand what Abdul, but I enjoyed what he did. And I said, whatever Abdul did, I want to do it. I started researching around programming, coding, and I started learning Java. I did Python, C#, JavaScript, C++. I did almost everything I can think of in just 1 year. And I was so absorbing everything because everything was so exciting to me. I did Java for like 3 months, did JavaScript for 2 months. I was just juggling around different languages. So 1 year, I knew all the languages, but I had no mastery of one. So I was jack of all trades, master of none. So that was actually a mistake that most newbies will likely make. And if you're a newbie here, that is a mistake you should not make. Rather, what you should do is take one. So if you want to become an Android person, you want to do Python for something else, just choose one first of all. Focus on that one. If you like that one, focus and master it. But if you don't like that one, you focus on take another one, try again, and keep trying until you find one that actually suits you and you can flow with it and begin to master it. So don't take everything at the same time. Don't juggle web, backend, front end, Android, you're doing Flutter, you're doing this. Don't do that to yourself, at least for the beginning. Just start with one, see how far you can go with that one. If it's fine, continue. If it's not fine, switch. But find one to focus on and become a master on it. So I'm going to be jogging around the screen and the chat section to see if there are any questions or something that I need to address quickly. So the second mistake, it's a mistake that most persons also make, and that is the issue of marketing yourself while learning, even after learning, marketing yourself. And to better explain what this means, I want to look at the screen and look at what John Sonman said about this. He said, you can be the most talented developer, engineer, could be the most brilliant Android engineer in a bar, it could be the most talented Flutter person, web, back, and front, whatever task skills you are. But if no one knows you can do those things, it does not matter. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So you could be an expert, you learn this, you learn that, but if no one knows you can do it, it doesn't matter. That is where marketing comes into place. Marketing simply means putting yourself in front of people who will need or require your services or products. So if you're an Android person, you need to put yourself in front of people who will need Android services. So by talking to them, by showing your skills and doing different things. So most persons lose out opportunities because not that they're not good enough, but because they've not learned the acts of marketing themselves online. To explain how this actually affects your career, I want you to take a look at the screen and see two different people, Nkechi and Jude. So Nkechi, they all sell shoes. Yeah, they all shoe sellers, shoe and bag sellers. Yeah, they sell Oh, sorry, no audio. Yeah, I actually left. Yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah, that was a mistake. So the point I was trying to make before this screen was about Nkechi and Jude who sell shoes and bags. I was trying to explain that Nkechi always markets her bags and shoes on WhatsApp every single day, and Jude does that once or twice in a month without real consistency. So the question was, if you are to, if someone walks up to you randomly and says, "Do you know who sells shoes and bags in a bar?" Automatically your mind goes to Nkechi because she's the one who's been consistent, and your brain always sees Nkechi's bags and shoes online. So the first person that comes to your mind is Nkechi and not Jude. So the same thing works around with developers and coders, students in tech. We all need to learn how to put our works out there as wide as we can. And the reason why we need to market ourselves is beyond just getting referrals and maybe recommendations. It's also part of this question I want to ask on the screen. If you search your name on Google, what will you see? And I don't know if any of us have done that. If you search your name on Google, what will you see? That's a very important question. Because if you answer this question, it now begins to show you how much you've done so well, or you've done so well, or you need to make an effort in your marketing efforts. Have you searched them on Google before? Now, if I search, okay, let me just do a little sample and show us how that could work. Maybe not. Okay, so let me just do this quickly. I'm going to search my name on incognito mode so that it doesn't pop up things that are fixed to my name. Just a random, just so anybody who does that the same will also see the same solution. Yeah? So if I search my name on Google search, the things I'm seeing are not quite impressive, but they're actually what it starts, because most of the content here are all trust Onyekwere. And from the bottom to the second screen, it's all trust Onyekwere, trust Onyekwere, trust Onyekwere, which is quite fair. But for most people here, once you search the name on Google search, you don't see their name pop up, and that's bad, right? Because that's part of the whole marketing efforts. So the more you distribute your skills across different platforms, the more Google search begins to show people, to a large extent, what you're currently doing. That is part of you can begin to now say, Google me and just Google me, you're going to see who I am. And that's like the step we need to begin to, to take to apply those things. So now how can we market ourselves? Very importantly, carry your market for head. Don't be ashamed to sell what you're trying to do. And if you're a web developer, Android person, it mustn't be so perfect before you share. And people actually would like to say, I need to make it colorful, I need to make it perfect before I share. If you do it like that, you end up not sharing, anything at all. And that's like it's a trap to be, perfect before you launch. So sell your skills shamelessly, carry your market for head, market from day one. So for those who are, either taking boot camps, who are learning courses or in tech education programs, market from day one. What does that mean? Basically means that let's say, for example, you want to learn cloud development and it takes 6 months to learn, or 3, whatever, course duration it is. Do not wait until you graduate before you start marketing yourself. What you would do is your marketing starts from day one. The first day you even bought the course, the first day you start training, start marketing yourself. Start talking about what you're trying to do. If you learn A, talk about A. If you learn B, talk about B. Document your journey with us online. So if you end the training in 6 months, you have 6 months worth of online marketing content. You can use do whatever you want to do. That's one of the little secrets that coding students need to know. Very important secrets. Document your learning online. If you learn HTML, talk about HTML. If you learn how to add colors with CSS, talk about it. So keep documenting your journey online. People are seeing this. When you graduate, the results you're going to see will be amazing to you. Unlike waiting on that after 6 months before you graduate, before you start marketing yourself, it may not give you the result that you want, and it could be frustrating at times. So let everyone around you know what you do. So if your mom, your dad, your uncle, your siblings, your aunties, your family can be able to explain clearly what you do, then you've won the game. Because that's like the most difficult thing to do. But once you've done that, people around you know what you do, then you know that you're marketing yourself very well and you're close to winning the marketing game for technology industry. So that is about marketing yourself, and that is a mistake, the confession that most of us did. You can do better. Now, the third one is about being blown about by the tech breeze. The tech breeze is so strong. To illustrate what this tech breeze mean, I wanted to give you an illustration about Zine. Yeah, illustration about Zine. Just a moment. Yep. So this is Zine. Yeah, this is Zine. Let's imagine a character called Zine. I know that's Papa, but let's imagine there's a character called Zine. In June last year, Zine saw an article that read, AI is the future of tech. Days later, Zine started doing AI. Before August last year, Zine saw a YouTube video titled Cloud Computing is the Future. Right there, right, he switched to learning cloud computing. Zine attended a tech meetup sometime in November, DevFest to be precise, where the speaker narrated how he made his first $1,000 from technical writing. Before the event ended, Zine has changed his Twitter bio to technical writer in training. Now, before December, Zine changed his Twitter bio to NFT expert. February has ended this year. Zine is confused, and you can see in the picture, he's thinking, this NFT thing will enter like this. Is it actually what I want to do? He's confused, frustrated, and careless. He has done Android, cloud, technical writing, NFT, he's in blockchain, is moving around in tech breeze. That was, that was me 6 years ago, and that has been some of my friends 6 years ago. But other mistakes we did back then, being brought by the tech breeze. So how this tech breeze thing works is basically, Twitter, for example, is very noisy. And when you go to Twitter, people now begin to say, JavaScript got me this car, I moved to JavaScript. Or someone says, blockchain bought me my first car, move and go and do blockchain to get your first car. Or someone says, Android bought me a new house, you go and do Android. That's being burned by the tech breeze. You're not consistent, you're not steady. The noise is carrying you away, and that's that's a big trap for those who are starting out in career in tech. So how can you do better? Well, basically, be like Sabinus in the picture. Focus, right? So stay focused on your parts. If you're an Android developer, for example, stay focused on Android development parts. Filter the noise online. So basically, if people begin to talk about how JavaScript is this, blockchain is that, NFT is this, just filter the noise. Twitter, for example, is like one of the noisiest places for tech people to be on, because everyone's an expert on Twitter. They're giving advice left and right, here and there. If you're not careful, you can begin to be carried away by the tech breeze. So do not listen to filter the noise online, filter advice online, and see how it relates to your career. But most especially, join groups and communities that connect to your path. So if you're an Android developer, it's good to join general tech communities, but look for communities that are tied to your Android career path. So when someone begins to say, Android got me this car, Android got me my first house, Android got me, got me this or that, you begin to get motivated, because that is the Android they're trying to do. Unlike when you're joining the groups of people talking about JavaScript, blockchain, NFT, sometimes it gets somehow confusing, and you get distracted, and you get tempted to go and do those things, and you miss out on your part. So if you do like that 2 times, 3rd time, 4th time, you begin to carried by tech breeze and you get frustrated, and you do nothing at all. So filter the noise, join communities that talk about your parts, stay focused on your parts. Don't be like Zine, be like Sabinus in the context of a conversation. The 4th confession, or the 4th mistakes, is not able to introduce myself well. So most of my tech colleagues then could not introduce themselves well. And if I am to ask these questions, for those who are on the call, if someone asks you, what do you do? Let's take Esther, for example. So the question is, what do you do? How do you respond? You may take the comment section to just type in what you feel is the answer to this question. If someone walks up to you and say, hi, what do you think what you do? What do you do? How will you respond to that question? You can use the comment section. I can see answers. No answer is wrong, just to make a point. So what do you do? If you ask the question, what do you do? How will you respond in the comment section? before you comment, you must have given StreamYard your permission to help, so you can actually be able to comment. So the question comes up, what do you do? What is the answer? I'd like us to, be interactive and just find a way to fix, just share what you do or what you think is the right answer to this question. What do you do? All right. It's either I can't see the comments or no one is commenting. All right. Oh, beautiful. I think I'm seeing some comments. I'm a front-end web developer. That's nice. Okay, I think they're coming in now. I'm a techpreneur, Android developer. Beautiful. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So the answers, of course, the answers are already predicted, and these are the common answers that most techies or developers use to respond to that question. I'm a software developer. I build software. I'm a coder. I'm a Python developer. I'm a Java developer. I'm a C+ developer, JavaScript person. These answers are not wrong in themselves. In fact, they are actually like one of the correct answers to give. But in the issue of marketing yourself, on the issue of trying to be an authority somehow, these answers are not entirely recommended. Because if you say you're a software developer, for example, the question now comes, what kind of software do you develop? If you say I build software, the same question comes, what kind of software do you build? So saying being a software developer, I build software may be too generic and may not actually tell exactly what you do. Now, if you say you're a Python developer or you're a Java developer, for example, Java can be used to do different things. You can use Java for Android apps, for cloud computing, AI chatbots. You can use Java for backend development and a few other things. So if you, and games as well, yeah. So if you say you're a Java developer, the question now comes, what do you use Java to do? And describing yourself by the language you use or the stack you use or whatever tool you use to do your work basically shows what kind of tool you use to do your work and not really the type of development you do. So like I mentioned, JavaScript can be used to do front end, back end. You have React, you have other frameworks. PHP is of course back end. Kotlin can be used for Android apps, cloud, and a few of script writing. So when you mention you're a developer by the language you use, it's not clear enough what kind of software you build. So the ability to narrow down what you do and describe yourself as it is one of the best things you can ever do. And how can you do better? Of course, to fix this mistake, you have to narrow down to what you do. And if you are a Java developer who uses Java to build Android apps, it's easier to just narrow down and say I'm an Android developer. It's very easy like that. Because when you say Java developer, it's not really clear because Java is a language to do so many, it's a tool to do different things. So what exactly do you use Java to do? Android applications? If yes, then just say you're an Android developer. If you are a JavaScript developer and JavaScript for you is for front-end development, just tell us you're a front-end developer and don't begin to say JavaScript developer, because JavaScript can do so many things at the same time. So remove jargons in your introductions. It feels good to begin to say software engineer, this and that. It could be too technical at some point. I may not actually give you the desired outcome you're looking for. So don't tell what you're not. Just focus on what you can do now, narrow down to what you do, and be able to introduce yourself very clearly and well. All right. So the fifth confession of mistakes that is about building products. And I mentioned that during the Flutter Festival event, and I said developers should go beyond building projects and build products. So I think I said exactly was don't build projects, build products. So build products, not just projects. So project in this context are things that are temporary efforts. So basically, I want to learn React by building an e-commerce project. So in the context, it's temporary endeavor. So once I'm done building the e-commerce project, I've learned React. So that's a project somehow. But it's not a product. And products are the fastest way to grow as an engineer or a developer. Projects most times do not get public limelight. They're just in your GitHub repo or they're in your laptop. No one may know you did them, and they don't really give you the growth you're looking for. To actually escape the tutorial hell, which is learning and learning and learning and learning for years and months, you need to build products instead. So let's take, for example, so products in this case, products basically means usable software. So you have to build things people can use. That's what products are about, like something that people are actually going to use. So once you build an e-commerce project, for example, it's a project and you've launched it on GitHub and it's just there. How do you convert that project into a product? So you build e-commerce project, yeah? You go to, you mentioned Nkechi earlier. So probably Nkechi is your friend. You go to Nkechi and say, Nkechi, I have this e-commerce project I just built. I want you to use it to sell your bags or shoes. Just give me money for hosting and domain. He or she pays you money. Yeah, pays you money for hosting and domain, and you host it online as you use to sell her products. You have actually converted the project into a product that Nkechi is using. And then you go to Jude and say, oh, Jude, I have an e-commerce project. I want to use and sell your project or your products or services. You use and begin to sell. So Nkechi begins to say, I need to add charts, I need to add checkout, I need to add this. Before you know it, you're adding different things based on feedback, and you're increasing the product's capability. And before you know it, actually become a big product. Because Nkechi may have friends who are saying, oh, I like your e-commerce site. Can I have it as well? She says, okay, go to this guy and you give it to them and begin to have a database of people using your product. So it's no longer a project on GitHub, but it's not a product that I'm actually going to use. They can begin to SaaS it up and begin to be software as a service or do whatever you want to do with it. That is the kind of idea, a kind of concept developers need to begin to cultivate and build more products, not just projects. So product doesn't mean startup. No, it's not startup. That's not startup. Startup is not a project. Products can be startup here, but in this case, it's just building someone actually going to use. Now, to basically understand this clearly, the concept here is just to build something people are going to use, no matter how simple it is. So if you're learning tutorials from YouTube, whatever, find a way to see how can I build products out of this, not just projects. If I build this, who's going to use it? Is it me? Is it somebody? So build something people are actually going to use. Copy and paste is this. So if you're confused on what I'm going to build, you can leverage on using existing solutions and copy and paste. If you're an Android developer, go to Google Play Store. You can search for different ideas, apps, and see how you can copy and paste and twist to suit local community, or you can fix your own problem. And to illustrate how this problem fixing was, so in 2018, I had this problem. I actually launched SnapText in 2018. I had this problem, and that problem was that most of the memes, the motivational quotes, the quotes are all images on my phone. And I want to share the quotes without the images. And normally I had to type out all the text one by one, then share on WhatsApp status on Facebook. But then Google released machine ML kits, the AI library to use to do machine learning things on your Android app on Firebase. So I tested it out and used the text, the extraction. Is it text? How is it called? I've forgotten the name of that particular component, but it allows you to extract text from images. So I said, oh, that's cool. So I actually built SnapText. You can see on the screen, very simple. Upload the image. I click on the button, extract the text, and that was it. I solved my own problem. But I now pushed it on the Play Store, and people started downloading the app and started using the app. And I was impressed. I was like, okay, this is not only my own problem, but people also have the same problem. And I've not actually done marketing on the app. Like I've stopped coding for like so many years, but the app is still there. People actually download the app every single day. I checked the app this morning just to confirm, and I saw that 300 people are actually still using the app to extract text from their phones. And that was actually a good thing from that, because if you're an Android developer and you do this, maybe one or two similar solutions, you have a good database to get for jobs. Because getting jobs, building products are quite easier, because employers and recruiters are looking for how have you actually been in a production environment before? Have you built something and you launched live, people are using it? Is it crashed? How did you prevent it from crashing? How did you handle the traffic and all those things? So it's easier to put yourself in that production environment. Take the pressure, because I saw a lot of feedback on the app. People are saying design is not good, button is not working, add this one, add that one, add this one, add that one. So I was learning by adding them. So if they say add, okay, someone said I need to be able to extract, okay, I need to be able to, what is it again? Yeah, I need to be able to convert my English text to Spanish, a translation kind of setting on the app. The name of the app is SnapText. The app is called SnapText. Yeah. So she should be on the Play Store. Yeah, she should be on the Play Store. So that was like, once I said, okay, translation, that's fine. I went to learn translation. I added it and did some other things there, which I didn't launch it because I had differences in my head than the app itself. But that is actually how you grow as a developer, by building products, not just projects. So this could have just been a project on my GitHub page, but I had to just push it out there for people to use it, get feedback, be able to make changes and learn, in the process. So at the time, I began to change, asking my friends, what are you learning? Because learning seems to be, you can learn every day and you're not going anywhere. So I changed from asking them, what are you learning, to asking them, what are you building? Because building is fastest way to learn. So if you want to build an AI app, AI app, for example, let's say you want to build a chat app, for example. What do you need for a chat? If you're in JavaScript, you need to, what's the name of this plugin? WebWTC. That's, if I'm not mistaken, WebWTC. So you need to learn it, learn to learn sockets, you need to learn other things as well. So once you've learned, you're adding, you learn, you're adding. Before you know it, you've learned a lot of things to build a complete, chatting applications. So you can learn that very quickly and begin to build and grow your careers in tech. So persons actually get jobs because of products that they built. A friend of mine got a job last year. He basically was building a teleconferencing app, like a Zoom web mobile app. She talked about it on Medium. So he wrote about how he did this and did that. A founder who was trying to build a startup in the US saw it and chatted him up and said, I saw your article, it looks fine. We're trying to build this same feature on our own applications. Will you mind to join the team and so you can help us add teleconferencing to our own startup? Of course, he said yes. So he joined the team and they were employed. He was employed, yeah? So building products are the fastest way to learn and the fastest way to actually get jobs. I wish I knew that before starting now. That's like one of the confessions I'm trying to relate here. And you can do better by building usable software, move from product to projects, fix your own problems, find a way to push out whatever you're building for people to use it. Even if it's just e-commerce sites, push it out there, let them use it and see how you can monetize and find a way to begin to grow your careers, yeah? Okay, so that's quite a lot, but we're getting close to the end. So the sixth confession is personal branding. Personal branding. So personal branding is, in simple terms, what people perceive you to be when you're not in the room. So people may begin to say, I want people to see me as an Android developer, but when you ask them what you do, they say you're an AI person, which means you have personal branding problem, because people are perceiving you what you're actually not, and that's personal branding. So as developers, while starting out, we neglected personal branding to a very large extent. And to really show you the importance of personal brand, let's take this illustration for example. So let's assume there's a guy called Max, yeah? Max is a developer in the community. Just imagine the character I just imagine right now, Max. So there's a committee, a 4-man committee that needed to hire an Android developer. 4-man committee, don't forget, 4-man committee. The first committee member said, oh, I know someone who can build the Android application. That is Max. Max is an Android developer. I spoke with him last year and he introduced him myself as an Android developer. He did a few things in Android. I think he can take up the project. Committee member number 2 said, Max, which of the Max? Okay, Max is a UI designer. I mean, I shared it up on WhatsApp last year, and he showed me a few of his portfolio designs and a few things. I gave him a couple of projects. I think he's a UI designer. I don't know if he's an Android developer. I'm not too sure. Are you sure he's an Android developer? While they're discussing about this, committee member 2 says, calm down. Which of the Max? Max from GDG Aba. Max is an AI developer now. I mean, for him, that first talk slide, he wrote it there, AI expert and machine learning enthusiast. Which one is Android and UI again? And Max is an Android person. I don't know if he does Android or which one is UI design. And it's AI for me. Last committee member said, which of the Max again? Seven no vex. Max Junior. Max Junior is a digital marketer now. For the just see Medium account, if you go to Medium, you see his article, digital marketing, SME, social media. Like he talks about marketing everywhere. Is a digital marketing person. So I don't know why he's now doing Android. I don't know which one is Android UI again. So clearly, Max has a personal branding problem. He's doing everything at the same time. He's doing UI, he's doing Android, he's doing AI, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing everything. And so it's hard to actually say which one exactly is Mark doing. What is Mark doing exactly? It's difficult. Because my mom one says AI, someone says Android. That was like the trap we all fell back then when we were starting our careers in tech. We're doing everything at the same time. That's actually a trap and it's very bad. You have to choose one and not carry yourself as an expert in everything. I know some persons who are on Twitter, they are software engineers. On LinkedIn, they are technology consultants. On Facebook, they are digital marketers. On WhatsApp, they're designers. That's a whole lot of things. And it's hard for you to show yourself as an expert if you're doing everything at the same time. So how to do better is this. Don't position yourself as what you're not. If you're not doing that, don't say you're doing it. Unless you want to be a consultant, look, you're a consultant and you have an idea of everything. But if you're looking to niche down as a developer or as a tech person providing services, it's good to have a niche authority where you stand. And to make it clear, don't build in silence, build in public. If you say you want to be known as an Android developer, Android engineer, a web person, a front end person, showcase what you're doing in front end to different people. So, okay, Max is an Android developer. That's cool. And everywhere, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp, everything around him is Android. It's clear that he's an Android person. Once you say you're an Android developer, but if I go to Medium, I see AI stuff. I go to LinkedIn, I see design things. I go to Facebook, I see you're doing digital marketing. I go to WhatsApp, you post AI things every day. I begin to wonder, what is the Android thing you're doing again? So it's difficult to clearly say you're an expert if you don't actually show expert things what you're trying to do, yeah? So don't build in silence. You have talked about showcase your stuff, and it's good to explore. So when I talk about this, I get attacked most time and say, okay, you don't want us to explore different. Tech is sweet, yeah. I can trick your mouth in different things. Do this one, test this one. That's fine. Explore different areas, but have a stronghold. Don't be jack of all trade, a master of none. So it's easier to say, I'm an Android developer, interested, or no, let's not use passionate here. Let's say interested, yeah. I'm a developer interested in blockchain and AI technologies. Then it's clear that what you're doing, main thing you're doing is Android. But you can also give ideas around blockchain and AI. But the thing you're doing clearly is Android. It's clear like that. That's the best way to do it. Instead of saying you're an Android person, you're a blockchain person, you're AI person at the same time, it begins to get confusing most times. Yeah. So explore different areas, but have a stronghold. So for example, myself, I know I can still develop around Android things. I can do WordPress websites. I can, do a few chatbot AI things on TensorFlow, on Dialogflow, but I don't talk about those things. What I know my strength is currently in product management. That's my strength. So if you see project management, that's me. Let me get down. So that's the idea I want all of us to have, yeah? So if you're a web person, you're an Android person, you're a design person, it's good to explore different areas, but have one stronghold. You say, I have idea around NFTs, I can do crypto, I can do blockchain, I can do AI, but you see design, that's me. Let me get them. That's a better way to do it. And don't be like Max by doing different at the same time. Recommendations can be hard to give if you're not an authority in one field. Someone come and say, okay, do you know someone that can do Android? You begin to say, Android, okay, I know Max. Max is doing Android, he's doing AI, he's doing UI, he's doing this one, he's doing this one. You begin to doubt yourself if Max is actually an Android person. I've seen a lot of people in the community doing this. I won't mention names, but they'll be hearing this, but that's fine. So if you hear this, I beg change. That's not the way to go, because most times when someone asks me, do you have someone? I know someone, but I'm not too sure that's his strength, because it's like he's everywhere at the same time. So I give it to someone else who I'm sure that's where his expertise lies. So don't be everything at the same time. Follow one field, focus on it, build, don't be in silence, be in public, show what you're doing, have a stronghold, and don't be everything at the same time. All right, going to the last one. All right, the last one. Yeah, so I saved the best for the last for the best. Yeah, and the statement works like that. So don't be afraid to switch careers in tech. This is, I wish I knew this. Like, I wish I knew this 4 years ago. I'd be better off where I am right now. But that's fine. We learn every day. And that's the reason why this is happening. So you don't make the mistakes that we did back then, learning out. Don't be afraid to switch careers in tech. If coding is not working for you, try something else. Before now, like when I mean try something else, or when I mean it's not working for you, doesn't really mean that code like it's hard. Coding is hard, yeah. Programming is hard. But if programming is your thing, stay in the programming, learn it well until it becomes easy for you. But if you're not sure that coding is what you want to do, or it does not connect to you, that means it's not working for you. Try something else. Those back then, like those that still say I'm old. It's not those days, it's actually 6 years ago. So 6 years ago, right? It was actually hard for people to switch careers from coding, because back then was like coding was the only tech career available. So everybody was doing coding. Boot camps were like, come and learn code tech skills. Why are you teaching coding? Come and learn tech skills coding. Come and learn tech skills coding. So coding was like the only tech skill available. So folks were scared to leave coding because they felt like if they leave coding, they've left the tech industry. So scared to leave tech industry. But now we've seen different, Twitter spaces, education, webinars about non-coding careers in tech, which is beautiful because coding is not the only career in tech. So if you're trying to come into tech and you try coding for some time, it's not working, please just try something else. Don't still stay in coding for years. Developers, engineers, sometimes they fall in love with the whole engineering title ideas, and they begin to lose out on the reality of things. So they're doing coding for 2 years, 4 years, no result. They still keep doing the coding. It's going to be consistent, but when you know it's not working for you, it's not working for you. Try something else. I've seen developers who switched from engineering to digital marketing to product marketing, technical writing, training, and they did excellently well in that field. An example is a friend of mine who was a project manager. She entered the tech industry as a project manager, but she was an introvert. Project management is about talking to people. You talk to stakeholders, to users, to developers. You're doing presentations, having meetings every time. You're talking. As an introvert, it was hard for her to talk. She was struggling in the job. She was really struggling. So eventually, I told her, project management is actually not your thing because it doesn't fit your personality. Project management is about talking to people here and there. You're talking to stakeholders. You're talking to users. Try something else. So she went into technical writing, which has less communication to people talking here and there. She was all in her laptop in her room, fixing the writings and all that, and pushed it out there. She excelled excellently, like she times X'd her career with technical writing. She did project management. So that's the kind of example I'm trying to give here. Most persons start coding and they feel they have to die in the coding if it's not working for them. So if coding is not working for you, it's not giving you the joy you needed exactly and stuff like that, try something else. Potentially that something else would be something that actually drives you faster in your tech career. All right, so that's basically the last confession. Let me just go back just to draw one of them quickly here and there before I take questions, if any. So 7 confessions are like 7 mistakes. I'm confessing mistakes, yeah, that we did back then when we were trying to enter technology through coding. And my confession, my friend's confession, friends who are engineering friends, colleagues, bring them together as 7 confessions, mistakes that we did while we were starting out. So the first, that we were jack of all trades. We did so many things, and I mentioned that the Kita movie was the one I saw in 2016. And I saw someone coding and hacking, like he was pressing everything on the laptop. You know how those movies can be sometimes. So I loved what the guy did. I started researching, started doing Java, Python. I did everything in 1 year. But I learned so many things, but I couldn't hold on to one. That was a bad mistake. So how can you do better? Focus on one. Pick one, master it, start again, and find something you like, and just stick to it for a very long time. marketing yourself early on. We talked about, you can be the most talented person, but if you don't put yourself out there, no one knows you exist, and it doesn't make any sense. So talk about what you're doing, or mention about Nkechi and Jude. You can probably wind this back and see what example we gave. So talk about Google search results, how to, marketing yourself can help you increase your search results, writing articles and doing other things. Carry your market for head, sell shamelessly, push your market out there, 100%, web person, just disturb us what you're doing, and we'll see that and recommend you and get jobs faster and quicker. So about Tech Breeze, we talked about being blown out by Tech Breeze, how jumping like Zane was doing, moved from here to here. Someone said JavaScript got him blocked, a car. Zane started doing JavaScript, gets a car. Someone talked about how blockchain bought him his first house. Zane started doing blockchain. Someone talked about how Android got him his first car. Okay, that was car initially. How JavaScript got him his first $1 million. Zane started doing, Android. Like it was blown about by a Tech Breeze. That was bad. I would say, don't be like Zane, be like Sabino's. Focus on your parts. Filter the noise online. Just keep your eyes focused on where you want to be. Join communities and groups that fit into your parts, and stay focused there and try what you want to try and see how far that goes. We talked about introduce yourself. So how do you introduce yourself? How do you answer the question, what do you do? Some say I'm a developer, Python developer. That's not bad, but it doesn't really tell exactly what you do. It only tells you also the type of the development you do and stuff like. So basically, narrow it down to what you do, because JavaScript, Python, the Java are tools to do so many things. Don't say you're a Java developer. Instead, tell us what you do with Java. Is it Android? Is it backend? Just be concise as possible as you can be. We talked about how to do that, concise, narrow down, remove jargons and all that. Building products are very usable. Like, don't do just projects. Instead, do more products. Product basically means build things people are actually going to use, either your own problems or copy and paste solutions to choose your communities. And I mentioned how I was able to solve my own problem and launch on Google Play Store, and the response it got from 2018. And we talked about personal branding, which was a mistake too. Yeah, personal branding. So Max, wanted to get an Android job, but everybody thought that Max was an Android developer, UI designer, AI engineer, digital marketer. So it was hard to even know what Max they do self, because he does everything at the same time. So that was like a personal branding problem. And then we talked about how to do better. Don't be in silence, show what you're trying to do, focus on one thing, explore different areas, but have one stronghold and say, this is what I do, and that's what I do strongly. And then we talked about, lastly, don't be afraid to switch careers in tech. Try something else if code is not working for you, and keep trying until you find something beautiful. Yeah, so that's basically all. I wish there was more time, but I mean, that's basically what we have here. So yeah, I don't know if there's any questions, anything not clear. So I want to just bring into the vibe that we had at Oscar, just to share, this experience, for the community to get to see how that works. Any questions, anything not clear? I'll be happy to take them and answer the questions to the best possible extent I can. Okay. I'm still waiting. I know there's a lag between the studio and the Facebook page, Facebook group rather. So if there are no questions, you can drop them. I'll say it later and do other things otherwise. Yeah. Oh, sure, definitely. Yeah, the video is here and on YouTube, so you can always go back to watch it. That's very possible and has been done already. So you can go back and watch, or go to YouTube and watch it. Yeah. All right, guys, thank you very much for your time. This is actually one of the first weekly sessions we're going to be having. The rest may come up sometime next week, and we'll keep yourself and engage the community with different sections going back and forth. So thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening and have a very blasting day. Weekend, today is Friday. Yeah, weekend is here. Yeah, so enjoy your weekend and take care of yourselves. Bye.
Technology brings us closer together, even when we're far apart. Google developer groups host meetup events for local technologists to connect, learn, and grow with others in their area.
The project I'm mostly proud of would be teaching introduction to programming to 7 girls in my hometown.
In the GDJ, I used to attend various workshops, like it was on Firebase, Android, Cloud. Everyone is learning from someone else.
We started to meet twice a week for a long time, learning Google Cloud. Amazing experience.
After joining Accenture as a software engineer, I started to share my journey in Medium, podcasts, and talks at online bootcamps.
My talk inspired one of community members a lot. So I mentored him to start his latter path. And 1 year later, at the same conference, he was giving a talk at the same stage.
One member of our community moved from being a DJ at our event to developing the first leading bank in the country.
When we do events that impact a lot of people, we are bringing opportunity to our region. So a lot of investors, a lot of startups, they will start to see opportunities here.